How do you go from a slap being abusive or words being emotionally abusive to, hey, you know what? Completely okay. Even though you're a biological male, it's totally fine that you think you're a woman. Let's put some pigtails in your hair. We're going to chop off your wee-wee. We're going to make a vagina out of it. And then you know what? We're going to give you some tits. And on top of that, we're going to give you some hormone blockers or puberty blockers so that you can't progress in your testosterone or estrogen depending on what the hell you feel like. That's not abuse to anybody. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our lead story here is quite a doozy. We have the Biden administration releasing a statement saying that early trans surgeries and hormones are crucial to a child's health. Yes, we're talking about kids, teenagers, children here, taking puberty blockers, getting their peepees chopped off, all sorts of stuff here, folks, at a young age. If you thought the Biden administration was crazy before, they've gone so far insane with this statement that I don't even have a word to describe it. They are nuts, folks. This one comes from the Daily Wire. And they say, White House, early trans surgeries, hormones are crucial for kids, teens who identify as trans. I'm going to try to keep it together here during this article because it just, the stuff that they want to do to these children, mutilation, hormone blockers, stuff that you just can't reverse. It's beyond me. It's beyond me to try, and make sense of it. Early transgender surgeries, hormone treatment, and affirmations are crucial for the kid's health. And teens who identify as transgender and non-binary, President Joe Biden's administration said in messaging released Thursday. It's just all about health, it's just a little bit of a cough, a kid thinking that they're a boy when in actuality they're a girl or vice versa. And then you're going to go in and take puberty blockers, hormones, stuff that you can't reverse so the kid's completely damaged for the rest of their life. Now, this seems like a great idea. It's all about their health, though. This is so disgusting. You try to just package it and utilize words to describe it, and you can't. The White House flagged a resource from the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health on Transgender Day of Visibility. I didn't even know that was a thing. Well, it's intended to inform parents and guardians, educators, and other persons supporting children and adolescents with information on what is gender-affirming care and why it is important to transgender, non-binary, and other gender-expansive young people's well-being. Gender-affirming care is a phase used by transgender activists and media to mask the more grisly sounding transgender top and bottom surgeries, including removing a biological woman's breasts, removing a biological man's genitals, sculpting a fake penis on a biological woman, facial feminization or facial masculinization, and more. But this is just all for the health of the child because the child knows exactly what they are at that moment in time. There's nothing to do with the brain development, nothing to do with the fact that you're mutilating a child and we're supposed to pretend like this is okay. The left are so insane that they're willing to do this to children. Does nobody see this as a problem? I'm trying not to yell in the mic. I'm sorry, I'm getting pissed off here because it's so frustrating that there's people on the left, progressives, celebrities, our freaking president and his administration in the White House that think that this is okay. To chop off somebody's genitals or their breasts and facial reconstruction to children. Somebody, for the love of God, explain this to me in the comments because I can't make sense of it. I've tried for years. Hand the God, I've tried for years to understand how you can formulate and reason this type of behavior into existence. I can't. Is anybody else pissed off or is it just me? Social affirmation, puberty blockers, and hormones also fall under the gender-affirming care umbrella. Commentators, lawmakers, people who identify as transgender, and people who formerly attempted transitions have expressed grave concerns about encouraging children or young people to explore transition of any kind. Yes, because they don't know anything. I'm not saying they don't know literally anything. They haven't figured themselves out. For somebody that literally works with teenagers every single day, trust me, even at 18, they're trying to find themselves. Okay, they're trying to figure out their identity in the world. And you're going to do this to people that are preteens that don't even know a damn thing, that can't even wash their own laundry, do their own dishes, make their own dinner. You're telling me that these are the kids that could sit there and say, you know what, I am for sure 100% a woman, even though I'm a biological male. I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, check this out. Gender affirming care in young people. Affirming care. So you have social affirmation, puberty blockers, hormone therapy, gender affirming surgeries. Well, what is it? Social affirmation? Adopting gender affirming hairstyles, clothing, name, gender pronouns, and restrooms and other facilities. When is it used? At any age or stage, just, whenever it's convenient. Reversible or not reversible. You could switch your hair color. You could go to a different bathroom. You could change your pronouns anytime you want. But that's normal, right? It's normal for you to do all those things, just go back and forth, willy-nilly, like a reed in the wind. Completely normal. It's healthy, you guys. Didn't you know it's healthy to do these things? Puberty blockers. This one pisses me off. Using certain types of hormones to pause puberty development. It says reversible. Many times it's not reversible, depending on which age you start this in. They're lying to people on this. It's not always reversible. You should put a maybe there. Unbelievable that people are willing to believe in this crap and then do it to their own children. Hormone therapy, testosterone hormones for those who are assigned female at birth. Why are they using female? That's not a thing. That's not a thing, right? I was told by the left that there's no such thing really as a female. They can't even describe it, right? I mean, you just had Miss Jackson on the Supreme Court couldn't identify what a woman was, and now they're going to use the word female here. Check this out. Gender affirming surgeries. Top surgery to create male typical chest shape or enhance breasts. Bottom surgery. Surgery on genitals or reproductive organs. Typically used in adulthood or case by case in adolescence. So children, folks, this stuff is happening. The left, like, oh, no, it doesn't happen. And then what are they doing? They're actually doing it. I don't believe shit what the left says at all. At all. If Biden gets reelected, honestly, with shit like this is nuts. This is like, somebody give me a word to describe this so I can utilize it on the show. I'm trying my best to formulate a word or a description that would encompass everything that this article is talking about in which the left want to do to children. Horrifying. It's like a horror movie, man. It's a horror movie. Gender affirming care is a supportive form of healthcare. Fuck it is. I'm sorry to cuss. Gender affirming care is a supportive form of healthcare? What health are you caring for when you're chopping somebody's genitals off that's a child? You're not caring for anything. What happens if later on that kid goes, hey, you know what? I made an oopsie. I'm not a girl. I'm not a girl. I'm actually a guy. And you cut his schlong off. But we're supposed to take these children serious because they know everything. The Office of the Assistant Secretary for Health sheet says, it consists of an array of services that may include medical, surgical, mental health, and non-medical services for transgender and non-binary people. I would say the mental health is probably a good one for you to select here rather than the gender surgeries. Maybe talk it out before. Maybe wait till they're 18 before you want to cut off their breasts and their genitals or give them puberty blockers. That might work as well. For transgender, non-binary children and adolescents, early gender-affirming care is crucial to overall health and well-being as it allows the child or adolescent to focus on social transitions and can increase their confidence while navigating the healthcare system. Transgender surgeries, hormones, and affirmations are important, the White House claimed, because these procedures have been shown to increase positive outcomes for transgender and non-binary children and adolescents. Quote, gender-affirming care is patient-centered and treats individuals holistically, aligning their outward physical traits with their gender identity. The White House did not immediately respond to requests to comment from the White House, from the Daily Wire. The messaging comes amidst national controversy over whether children should be able to obtain such procedures. You have Greg Abbott of Texas has drawn heavy fire for calling transgender treatments for children child abuse. It is child abuse. I mean, people call you slapping your child or hitting your child on the tush, just a little hit because they do something wrong, child abuse. You're cutting off a child's genitals. How do you go from a slap being abusive or words being emotionally abusive to, hey, you know what? Completely okay. Even though you're a biological male, it's totally fine that you think you're a woman. Let's put some pigtails in your hair. We're going to chop off your wee-wee. We're going to make a vagina out of it. And then you know what? We're going to give you some tits. And on top of that, we're going to give you some hormone blockers or puberty blockers so that you can't progress in your testosterone or estrogen depending on what the hell you feel like. That's not abuse to anybody? To play into somebody's delusions of them thinking that they're a woman when in fact they're a biological male, that's not abuse? Folks, if you saw a schizophrenic person or somebody sitting there going and talking to an imaginary person, would you feed into delusions going, oh yeah, you know, that person exists, that person that you're talking to, that nobody else can see around you, that's completely healthy, that's totally fine, makes sense. Oh, that person's telling you to kill 100 people? No, that's fine. Let's treat that as healthy too. Let's treat that as normal. But that's what the left want to do here. They want to treat crazy things as normal. On Trans Awareness Day, who the hell knows about all these days? Did anybody, let me know in the comments, do any of you know that there's all these days that are available? I did not know there was a Trans Awareness Day. In early March, people who formally began transition surgeries or procedures flooded social media with their detransition stories, sharing stories of depression, anxiety, and fear. So these are people that made the transition and then detransition because they saw, uh-oh, I am not what I thought I was before, made a little bit of mistake. Twitter's users who spoke out said that they began taking testosterone as soon as they turned 18. These users, many of whom are biological women, described how they did not feel that they fit in high school or middle school and sought to find answers on the internet. Quote, I started taking testosterone at 18 because I was tired of not fitting in with other girls, so I thought I'd make it better by being a man instead. An autism diagnosis later, and it all makes sense now. That's a really terrible story and a very sad story. So you just wanted to fit in. I guess it turns out this person's autistic, and they started taking testosterone because, you know, they figured out I'm better off as a man, and now they're probably screwed because of it. It's terrible. Allie, who does not use her last name to preserve her privacy, told the Daily Wire at the time that there's a big problem right now with how hormonal therapy is being given as a rush treatment for gender dysphoria in young people. Oh, but you can't say gender dysphoria anymore. This is normal, right? Why are we labeling this as gender dysphoria when I was told by the left, I'm being told by the President of the United States and his administration and his own Department of Health here, that this is completely normal for children to say that they are a female when in fact they're a biological male, then go get surgeries and hormone blockers, completely normal. Why is this person doing that? Of course, I'm being facetious here, folks. That hormonal therapy takes precedence over explorative therapy that might help dysphoric people understand why they want to be the opposite sex. You have Michelle, a biological woman who told the Daily Wire that she sought to transition to a man, shared that she began transitioning in 2010 at the age of 22 and detransitioned in 2020, so 10 years later. I grew up as a tomboy who didn't fit in. There seems to be a common theme here of not fitting in with society or school children or whoever it may be, which is sad. I was keenly aware of this by the time I was 7. I was too loud, too bossy, too impulsive, too emotional. The girls I made friends with felt conditional, like they would leave me at any moment if I did something wrong. And they did. Well, here's a picture of it, or of her or he. I can't keep track anymore. But this was a detransition. So it looked like transitioning here on the left to a boy, and then detransitioning back to being a she. Okay. For years, I struggled with this, Michelle continued. I might have been set in my ways, but I certainly wasn't mean. I had no idea why it felt like so many people just immediately didn't like me. My parents enrolled me in social skills group therapy when I was 10. Michelle said she began to discover activist gender conversations on the internet, how her mental health was suffering, and how she became suicidal. And there's a lot of talk about transgender people, you know, when they transition, that's just supposed to cure it. That's supposed to cure all the issues that are going on in their life. When in fact, I believe like the suicide rate is something like 40%. It doesn't really cure many. It will cure some, right? There are some people that genuinely fully believe that they are a female when in actuality they're a biological male or vice versa. but that's a very small portion of transgender people. And we have situations like this where, you know, some people just figure it out later on in life and go, that's not who I was. There was a lot of other stuff that was being overshadowed when in actuality, it wasn't what I thought it was. Quote, I was vulnerable, desperate, and young. On top of that, I had people online tell me, if you think you're trans, you are. And cis people don't think about gender this much. I heard the only 1% regret it statistic, and I thought I'd be fine. That could never be me. She continued with, what reasons did I have not to trust them? Why would so many people tell me things that weren't true? Welcome to society. The Democrats do it all the time. The president does it all the time. A lot of politicians in general, both left and right, do it all the time. You should not believe everybody that tells you things. Welcome to being an adult. Why would my doctors go along with it if I weren't really a man? Why would therapists risk my mental health if they weren't sure whether I would benefit from transition? Quote, this is the state of activist-controlled healthcare, Michelle said. There is one narrative that is acceptable, and every person who does not fit that narrative, who regrets transitioning, who returns to living as their sex, who talks about the potential for issues, is told to shut up. Welcome to censorship. Welcome to progressive left. Welcome to the Democrat Party on censoring ideas that actually make sense. Meaning, I'll give you one right now that makes sense. How about we don't push child abuse of having them cut off their genitals, talk about early trans surgeries are normal, all those things to children. Everything that I just detailed before. How about we don't do that? How about that be a good idea? But again, the left are going to stop at nothing from not just destroying this country, but destroying our children. They've already infiltrated Disney. They've already infiltrated these big corporations. Now they're going to start pushing it on TV at Disney Plus with this LGBTQIA stuff being pushed on all their platforms like Disney Plus and in their theme parks, which they've already started to do, and it's being shoved in front of our children. Then after they get done watching Disney Plus, where do they go? They go to school and they receive it from those teachers as well. Thank God you have sane people like Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida instituting parental rights law where it prohibits teachers from kindergarten through third grade of teaching this gender ideology stuff on children when they should just be focusing on reading, writing, and arithmetic, all those things. But you have the White House here gone fully insane on releasing a statement like this. What do you say? Let me know down below, folks, what you say regarding this topic, and let me know how you feel with the Biden administration releasing such a crazy statement like this. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's not that crazy anymore. Maybe it's completely normal, and maybe I'm batshit crazy for all I know. I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure many of you are on board with me, folks. With that being said, make sure you like and subscribe, share this with your friends and family all over social media, and I will see you later today here on The Bald Brad Show.